Ooh, everyone got quiet. Scary. Sibilance. Sibilance. Ready or not, here we go. Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Maximizing Amazon presentation here this morning. I am your host, Chris Kennedy. I'll talk about me in just a couple minutes. They always say, don't start with disclaimers. I'm going to go ahead and do that because this is an hour-and-a-half presentation that I'm giving in 45 minutes, so I'm going to roll through quickly. I won't have time for questions, but please feel free to grab me afterward, and I'll work to answer any of your questions. So, books don't sell themselves. I wish they did. It'd make my life a whole lot easier as a publisher. But no matter how good they are, they don't. Look at that. So what this presentation is a look at jump-starting Amazon for people that haven't done it or haven't done it very much. I'm going to talk about some processes and procedures that hopefully will increase your likelihood of being successful. No person is the same, so things will vary a bit, and you got to figure out what works for you. This is not going to be the secret sauce for making millions. If I had that, I'd probably keep it to myself, but I don't. So this isn't the roadmap to success, but it'll give you show you some directions to maybe get there. And there's no guaranteed one way of doing it. It just doesn't exist. Everybody starts at different positions, and anyone that says there is such a thing is probably trying to sell you something. I'm not. But you can buy our books, that's fine. So, how many of you have written a book? How many of you have published that book? Sold it? Sold 100 copies? 1,000 copies? 1,000,000 copies? Okay. Like I said, I am a publisher. I'm also a science fiction fantasy author, editor. I run Chris Kennedy Publishing. We've sold 300,000 copies and 200 million page reads, so I'm passingly familiar with some of these things, some which work, some don't for us, but may work very well for you. I am assuming that you want to sell lots of books. There are many reasons why people publish. I am very mercenary in my approach. I want to make a lot of money. And this brief is, predicated on that. We're going to talk about ways to make money. I hope that's okay. If not, there's some other places you can go, I guess. I'm assuming that you have a book that's edited. I'm assuming that you have a blurb that hooks readers, and I am assuming you have a great cover. Basically not that. So that the book is ready, and these are the things that you're going to do to help publish it. This presentation is indie-focused, but it will work for TradPub, a lot of the different things. You may not have control over some of them, but some you will. So, the powers that be will tell you, oh, you shouldn't get into publishing, it's bad, books don't sell. Average book sells less than 250 copies a year, 2,000 copies overall. There's, oh my God, the numbers of self-published books have gone from 1.2 to 1.6 million. It's awful. Well, that may be true. But print books are growing at a higher rate than they have since 2010. There were 191 million ebooks sold last year. So somebody's making some money, and it doesn't take a big percentage of that to have some real coin. So how do you get it? We're going to talk about the Amazon algorithm. We'll talk about some pre-publishing things you can do, some Amazon tricks, selling and marketing, some ideas, some thoughts. If we have time for questions, we'll do them. I have a feeling we probably won't, but we'll see. So, the algorithm. Everyone heard of the Amazon algorithm? Anyone not heard of the Amazon algorithm? All right, I can blow right, one hand in the back. Okay, so We'll talk about what it is real quickly, how it's determined. Why do we care about the Amazon algorithm? Because if it can make books like these into massive bestsellers, it can do the same for you. So, what is the algorithm? It is the bit of computer code that Amazon uses to determine who it's going to market. And they send out promotions all the time. Some friends of mine in New Zealand like to call it Spamazon. Because they send out so many emails and trying to get you to buy stuff. How does it work? It's based on sales, primarily. Sales over time versus a spike. It's nice if you can get a book bub and sell 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, 10,000 books in one day, but that won't carry over very long. Nice return every day, for a long period gets you better. Some people say that 4- and 5-star reviews are important to the algorithm. Other people say no. I'm kind of a believer that they do help. It seems that all of the books that we have that are successful, that they're not successful because they have reviews, but the ones that tend to do better are the ones that have more reviews. Now, is that a chicken or the egg sort of thing? They're successful because of the reviews, or they have reviews because they're successful? Can't tell you for sure, but it seems to work that the more and the better ones you have, the better a book tends to do. And then there's the little button that says, was this review helpful, that people click on. That's a second level of social proof that help readers determine whether this is a real sort of review, and is it important? Is it meaningful to me? So, sales, apologize if you're in the back, you can't see. But for those up front, sales, you got ebook copies and then page reads. Reviews, nice review, bunch of 5s, 4 stars. Verified review, that's nice. And then at the bottom, you can see the little helpful button for people to click on. So, what does the Amazon algorithm get you? It will help you show up in things like this, the also bots. Yes, Amazon is doing away with a lot of those kinds of things in favor of paid advertising, which makes it harder for us and more money for them, which is what they're all about. But you will still see also bots, and if you've got a lot of momentum going, your book will show up there, which is nice. It'll also, like I said, show up in emails that Amazon sends. And Amazon knows what you like because you've bought stuff from them. And they have, everything you've ever bought in a computer. They know what you like, so they're going to send you things that you like. This is very powerful, targeted marketing that most authors would love to have, but they won't tell you. So, what do you do? In the pre-publishing phase, 4 to 6 months prior, the most important thing in building trust and making sales and doing all of these things is that marketing doesn't start when your book launches. And that's where I've seen the largest percentage of people fail. If you take nothing else away from this today, know that marketing starts 4 to 6 months prior. Why is that? Well, people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. When you're a debut author, no one knows you, no one likes you, and no one knows if they can trust you to get that book out there and then to write the second book and the third book in the trilogy, and not GRRM somebody where you get into a series and then the next book doesn't come out for 10 years or ever. This is a way of starting to build that trust. So while you're working on your book, while you're doing the cover and editing and all the other things that have to be done, you also have to be working on things like your website, a mailing list, memberships in various genre organizations, social media. And as the quote goes, you want to build the relationships before you need them, because if the first time you go out to somebody and say, hey, buy my book, and they don't know who you are, it's probably not going to work out for you. So, website. It's a good-looking website. Anybody that has seen Mod Farm's design in the industry, that's who does mine. Facebook, Amazon author page. So, what did you notice about the 2 slides prior to this? Anyone? No. Oh, my face! Yes. There I am. I'm on Facebook with me. It looks like me. And if you go somewhere else, it still looks like me. I'm trustable. No matter where you go, you're going to find me. I'm not a book cover. I'm not some amorphous something or other. I'm me. I'm the same everywhere you find me. And some people will say, well, but Chris, I don't like my picture. Well, there's somebody out there in the hallway that'll take a good picture for you. Oh, but I'm not pretty enough. I'm not, whatever. No, people want to make that trust relationship with you, so they want to see who they're talking to. You know, it really helps sales to have a picture of yourself. It's also branding. And branding for covers is also important. You can see if you've seen one of those in either series, you can probably guess that the other ones are from the same place. Marketing, branding, it's all, all on you as an indie author. You are responsible for your brand. You are responsible for the marketing. Like we already discussed, website, mailing list, blog if you do such thing. Amazon Author Central, once you get your first book on or published, you want to have a Amazon Author account. Can't do it until that first book comes out, but as soon as it does, apply for that. Social media, and then online communities. So, social media. I hate social media. Yeah, well, I do too. I never had a Facebook account until I became an author, but you kind of got to do it. It's free. I like free. Unlike everything else, that you're going to be doing, it's free, so the price is right. I like to tell people, you kind of need to do Facebook because that's where everybody is, despite all of its problems. My wife got a warning yesterday for using a thumbs up emoji because it was spam. What? But that's where people are. That's where there's almost an expectation that you're there, and then pick another one that works for you. Once again, earlier is better. You want to start establishing those trust relationships early, and then grow your following. Be yourself, but don't get lost. Facebook is a time vampire. It sucks the time right out of you. You look down, oh, it's an hour later. You're authors, first and foremost. You need to be doing that writing thing. And then the key to social media, engage. Some people watch Star Trek. Okay. Some don't. So let's talk about some Amazon tricks, some things to know. We'll talk about the pre-order. We'll talk about keyword, niche, and then some Amazon algorithm building. So pre-order. Everyone know you can pre-order a book, put it up for pre-release. Gives you a chance to get some early sales, give you maybe some momentum. You can post it up to 3 months early, although you do have to have the final in on time, which is, I forget, 3 or 4 days ahead of time. Don't miss that or you get banned from doing it again. A lot of people really like it. A lot of people do it. A lot of readers like it when you can do it so they can get it early and not have to remember. It does, however, kill some of your sales momentum because the sales are registered on Amazon when it's made. If you do it for a really long period, all those sales that you made 3 months ago don't count toward your sales rank. Tends to dilute the sales and makes it hard to really get that momentum going. So why do people do it? Well, it gives you an Amazon link you can use for marketing, promotions, advertising, helps you link books together. When you're putting out the first book, you can put in the link for the second one so that people can immediately just follow, right through the series. At the end of the day, you have to determine that if it works for you. A lot of people do it, other people don't. It's one of those things that is in your toolbox, and you can try it and see if it works for you. If so, great. So, keywords. Amazon gives you the ability to put in 7 keywords, and those are the kinds of things that are going to drive your sales. That also gives you 2 categories that you can put in for. Those keywords used to be associated with different niches and categories on Amazon. And back in the olden days, you put in the right keyword, it puts you into the right category. It doesn't, and Amazon had these pages, hey, if you want to be in this category, use this keyword. They have taken down all of those pages, and you just tell Amazon customer service, okay, I want to be in these categories. If you're smart or not, if you had all of those before, they still work. You can still use those keywords. They'll still get you into the categories. You don't have to go through customer service. And so what are the different categories? Here are some of the science fiction categories. Adventure, alien invasion, alternate history, they go on and on. They're the categories that you see on the left side of the page. So there's the keyword blocks, the 7 little slots. You can see that even though it's keyword, you can put in more than 1 into each of them, and then you get the 2 categories. So what good are the keywords? Well, they're words that are going to help people find your book. So you need to have, good descriptive ones, not romance or fantasy. If you just had fantasy, how many fantasy books are there on Google or on Amazon? Millions and millions. So you want to try and narrow that down a little bit, Victorian romance, medieval fantasy, things like that. How do you find the right words? There are a number of different tools that you can use. Publisher Rocket. Dave Chesson would be happy to, sell you that so that you can use it. It's one of the things I use to help get the right keywords. And like I showed on the box, you can have more than 1 keyword in each little box. If you put in more, you have a better chance of getting a hit. However, you get more points for an exact match. So maybe you fill up a couple of them and then do some solo ones. And that's something you can use trial and error. Amazon doesn't care if you change your keywords. You can put in a set, let it run for a couple days, see how it goes, and then change them and see if it makes any difference to you. So, not only are they just something that's used there for Amazon, in the keywords, they also can be used in titles. You've got your heavy necking, a vampire romance novel. You can add them to your blurb. You can add them to a tag at the bottom of the description. You can, put them all over. And they're not just for Amazon, because Amazon's products show up on Google and, any of the other search engines. The more you use, the more likely you're able to be found, increases your SEO. But they are very good for Amazon. And when people are searching to buy something, that's typically where they're searching, so you're going to have success there. So, sales rank. And you can see over on the lower left-hand side there, that has a sales rank of 5282. But what does that mean? Basically, the sales rank is based on the number of sales and the number of Kindle Unlimited downloads that you get. And each one counts toward a rank score. Each day, the score you had the day before gets cut in half, is added to today's points. This is, and I have to say, this is all hypothetical. Amazon doesn't tell you how it's calculated, but this is what the smart people think is going on. not me, other people. So you get the previous days cut in half, added on to today's, and that's your score. Then your book is ranked against all the other books in Amazon. So since it's a relative sort of thing, as your book goes up, typically, sales go up, you will move up the bestseller rank. Lower is better. Number one is the highest selling book in Amazon. But it's not just based on what you do, it's based on what everybody does. So you may have the same sales, several days in a row, and your book may go up or down based on what the other books are doing. So as an example, you sell 32 copies on Monday, you got 32 points. Tuesday, you sell 36, so you've got those 36 plus half of the day before, you got 52, and so on and so on. Why do we care about sales rank? Because it can be used for marketing. You can take a look on Amazon and find out what the number 100 book is in your category. Number 100, Amazon shows the first 100 books in a couple different places, and a lot of people scan those to find books to read. So if you're in the top 100, you're showing up there where people can find you. And you can see on the slide the different ranks of the number 100 book in a variety of different sci-fi categories. So if you look down at the bottom, you can see that a 10,000 sales rank is about 15 sales a day. A 6,000 sales rank is about 24. So as a new author, can you get 15 sales a day? Maybe, if you're doing the right things, which will pop you into the top 100 of a number of those categories. How do you figure sales rank? There are a number of different calculators that are out there, to see, how many sales you have that are generating that rank. Kindlepreneur has one. Several others exist. So, as you're starting out, it's oftentimes good to be the big fish in the little pond, because nobody knows you yet. So if you can get into some of the smaller niches, you can be found easier. That isn't to say that you should put your book into categories where it doesn't belong, because the reviews will hammer you for that. But if it fits into a couple different places and you can get into one that's a little bit smaller, you become the bigger fish. Gets you into the top 100, makes you easier to find. For example, the cover that I have here, when I looked at it, there were 18 new releases in the last month. So you're immediately going to be in the top 20 of the new release column. The sales rank of the number one book was 565, which is about 1,000 books a day. As a new author, are you likely to sell 1,000 books a day? Probably not. Maybe you have a lot of horsepower. Maybe you have things going for you and you can. That'd be great. Sales rank of the number 20 book, though, was 11,000. That's only 10 to 15. Are you able to do that? Maybe. And then the sales rank of the number 100 book was only 90,000 sales rank, only a couple books a day. Certainly, if you're doing the right things, you can do that. And then you go, hey, look, everybody, I'm in the top 100. Look, my book's in the top 100 of this category. Isn't it great? They don't have to know that you only sold one book to get there. Do they? No, you're in the top 100. It's great. If you can't be excited about it, you can't expect anybody else to be too. So, you use the things that you have. Oh, look, I moved up to number 88. Woohoo! I sold that second book. Yeah. So, it's one of those things. If you can find a good place where you can get some additional oomph in your marketing, why wouldn't you? All right, so Kindle Unlimited or wide? Does everyone know what Kindle Unlimited is? Anyone not know what Kindle Unlimited is? Okay, great. So how do you choose? There are lots of people here that'll say you need to do this way, you need to do that way. At the end of the day, it kind of depends on your genre and the marketing strategy that you want to use. For example, some genres are very Kindle Unlimited heavy. A lot of the science fiction ones are. For example, if you look at the covers there, that's the top 10 of Alien Invasion. You will see at the top of each that it says Kindle Unlimited. So that tells me that there's an awful lot of money in that category going toward Kindle Unlimited. Do you want to be where the money is? I do. And in fact, 39 of the 40 the other day were in Kindle Unlimited, including the number 3 book there, which is that Martell guy. You may have heard of him. So, last month, here's an example. This is one of our books. It had 452 sales, science fiction book. That was $1,200. Nice, nice bit of coin. But there were 356,000 page reads, which translated to almost $1,800. You would have lost out on about 60% of your income if that hadn't been in Kindle Unlimited. Now, could you have made some of that up if you had gone wide and sold some on Barnes & Noble and Amazon and all the other places? Sure. Would you have made up $1,800? Maybe, maybe not. I don't think I would have. So, Kindle Unlimited was the right spot for this book. Altogether, you can see, there's the total sales on Amazon. So, talk about building some algorithms for launch. So, anyone heard of a street team or a launch team? Anyone not? Okay. A launch team, I call it a launch team, other people call it street teams, is a way of generating some initial buzz about your book. Basically, you get together 20 or 30 of your fans because you've been on Facebook for the last 6 months talking, and you've got fans now, right? Go like this. Okay. That's why we do these things 4 to 6 months prior, so that when it gets to be time, we have these tools. So, launch team, 20 to 30 people, 2 to 4 weeks prior to the launch, you send them the ebook. You say, hey, your job is to read it, and then when it goes live, get on, write a review, click on the helpful on all of the other 4- and 5-star reviews. Amazon gets kind of twitchy if you say you must do this. All you can do is invite your readers to do it. If they choose not to, you can't get mad at them, or Amazon gets mad at you. But they're your people. They're the ones that are following you. They're not going to give you a bad review. Periodically I'll have 1 or 2 of our folks go, this one really wasn't for me. I'm just going to skip doing a review. Okay. I don't want you to put a bad review on it on launch day. I want you to put good reviews. If you can't do that, sure, take the day off. So, yes, it does cannibalize some sales because if you've already given it to the people, they may not go buy it. But it starts getting you some of that social proof that your book is worth reading. And some of the street team may go buy it. If you saw on the one review, it said verified review. That was a member of the street team. He liked it so much he went and bought it. Hooray! I not only get a good review, but I get a sale out of it also. So, in addition to the launch team, there are a number of other different things you can do. People still do press releases. That's still a thing. And if you can get a newspaper or magazine to print one, it's great because people believe, I saw it in print. It must be true. I saw it on the internet. It must be true. You can do launch party. You can do book signing, book tour, whatever you need to do to start getting the buzz out. And it's not always so much, okay, I had a book launch party and only 3 people came. Does everybody else on Facebook need to know only 3 people came? No, you take pictures with those 3 people and you post them. Look, we're having a great time. They love the book. You know, it's exciting. Everybody's excited. And you move on. So, you know, you're only limited by what, you know, you have in your imagination for, hey, how can I get people excited about this book? All right, so how do you sell more books? How do you get going on this? And really, how do you get the rubber to meet the road here? We'll talk about all of these different things. You don't need to write them all down because they've each got a slide. Starting with cross-promotion, strategic alliance, basically getting together with other authors that do what you do. You know, hey, you're writing a sci-fi book, I'm writing a sci-fi book. I'll help promote yours if you promote mine. Sound good? Okay, cool. And that's, you know, maybe that's on Facebook, maybe that's emails to your newsletters because you've been working on that all along, right? Yeah, okay. And you know, we're all the same tribe. As Craig says, the rising tide lifts all boats. Your sales aren't going to affect my sales by and large because readers read faster than either of us can write. So it's okay. You know, we can help each other out and we all win. Some other ways of doing that, anthologies, having a short story in with a bunch of other people. That way you're all getting access to each other's readers. You know, is everybody going to read your story in an anthology? Maybe not. You know, some may skip it because they don't know you, but other people will take a look and go, oh, hey, I like her. I wonder if she has anything else. And they'll go find your stuff. Box sets, same thing, but with full-length stories. You know, you can put promos in the back of each other's books. That was something I did when I was starting out. You know, I went up to all of the authors that seemed to be doing well, and I said, hey, you know, I'm a new author. Would you consider putting a promo for my book in the back of your next one if I do the same for you? And you kind of go, well, why would somebody that's doing really well want to do that? I mean, what do they have to gain? Very little. You'd be surprised how many authors took me up on that, though. You know, pulling people out of the top 20, I had about 60% that said yes, because no one ever asked them. They were like, well, how would that work? Well, you just put a promo for my book and yours, and I put a promo for yours and mine. Okay, sounds good. You know, he or she will probably pick up a few other readers, you know, but your book gets out in front of a lot of people, and that's kind of cool. Social media, of course, like we discussed, and then, you know, conferences and conventions, you know, being available, talking with folks. We do a lot of science fiction and fantasy conventions where we get out and meet the readers, and they love it. Paid promotion, you know, BookBub's the best, the biggest. Probably won't get one when you first start out, but there are a number of other mailing list promos that you can sign up for. Amazon ads, Facebook ads, you know, those things all work as well. Unfortunately, it misses my favorite word, which was free. You know, and when you have a large number of them, it's hard to spread it all out as well as you might like. Free is still my favorite. So, did a promo for Red Tide, which was my first book, and I had it free, and I had it out to a number of different email newsletters, and you can see, for those of you close enough, that it ran all the way up to number 50 in the free store, which made it number 1 in a whole pile of different categories. You know, and you can see it there on the bestseller list. Sure is nice to be number 1. People see it there and they go, oh, it's number 1. Must be awesome. I should try it. And they should. So, you know, if you can get books up to the top of the list, are you going to sell more books? Probably. So, as I mentioned, it was a free book. Free is a way of getting people to take a look because, you know, especially when you're starting out, they don't know, like, and trust you, but they can take a free look. Hey, that's great. I can afford to do that. There is some downside in that, sometimes people, go with the motto of you get what you pay for. And just because they download a free book doesn't mean they'll actually read it anytime soon. But some will, so, it's a very viable tool. You can use a free book, you can use a novella, you can use a short story. It's the first taste is free. Here's a free book, try it out. And then come back and, pay for the other ones. Works better in a series. If you don't have anything else, it's hard to give away something for free and make money with it. Once you have other books in the series that they can then look at the free one and then go buy the others, that works. But if you only have one book out, making it free, not a real good business strategy. Most people will use them for building the mailing list. You say, hey, join my mailing list, get a free story, get a free short story. And a lot of people will. Affiliate marketing, another way to make money. Once you get your book on Amazon, you've got your website set up. Join Amazon's affiliate program. Then when people click on the affiliate links that you put on your website, you get money for doing nothing, just for having the link to your book. They click on it, you get extra money. You still get the sale when they buy it, and you get a very small percentage, which it all adds up. You do have to make sure that do have to note on your website that you are using affiliate links. Read the terms and conditions. I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to play one on TV, but make sure you know what you're doing with them. So, what if your book doesn't sell? Are you going to yell and scream, cry a little? Of course you are. It's your baby. You put it out there and people didn't buy it. What went wrong? It's my baby. It's awesome. You should try it. Time to go back and review the plan. Change something up. Maybe it's new categories, new keywords. Maybe it's a new cover. Maybe the cover wasn't as good. It didn't resonate in the genre. Trying out different categories. Some people only search in one or two categories, and maybe you just missed your audience. So you can try out some different ones. As you add different books in the series, you can have one book in a couple series, or one book in a couple categories, the next book in a couple other categories, and work your way through. You can do a price change. This is from a while ago, but you can see the book was selling kind of at an even level, did a price drop, boom, jumped right up. And, as that Martell guy says, nothing sells the first book like the second book. And there's a number of psychological reasons for why that is. As you're starting out, that whole know, like, and trust thing. Well, you've got one book. Maybe I like you. Maybe I like this book. After I read it, there's nothing else. Where am I going to go? Readers want to develop that relationship with authors, and if there's only one book, they are programmed to not get it because they may like you, but there's nothing else. What will I do? So as you start having additional books, that breaks through that. You complete your first series, people go, oh, she went ahead and finished that series. Now it's time to jump in and find out. It also makes you look like a serious writer. I look like a serious writer, don't I? And readers want to read serious writers because that's that know, like, and trust. Oh, I can trust them. Obviously, if they have this many books out, they're obviously getting them edited. It's obviously a better book, right? They wouldn't continue to produce them if they weren't a serious writer. So whether you are or not, you at least appear to be one. And it's one of those things, fake it till you make it. Give every indication that you are the serious writer. And people will go back and find your earlier books. And I can prove it. So here is Pushing the Wayback Machine. This is my first science fiction launch, which is on the left. And then you can see the second book launching on the right-hand side of the screen. This is sales, number of sales. This was before Kindle Unlimited, so it's just sales. This is the first book on the left was Janissaries. Second one is When the Gods Aren't Gods. And this is total sales that you see here. So, you know, first book launches, trails off, second book launches. Hooray! So there's the second book sales. But look what happens to the first book. The first book sold a bunch when it came out, trailed off, but as soon as the second one launched, boom, it jumped back up again. We have a little series called the Four Horsemen Universe. First 3 books came out. Then the 4th book came out. It jumped all 3 of the first 3 books back up into the top 20 in their category. That was pretty nice. So, the bottom line, you can see on that slide, the light blue are indie authors. And indie authors lead every other group of authors all the way across, all the way to the $1 million sales. So you can do it. It can be done. Does it make it easy? No. But if you work hard, you can be there too. And this is where you can find me. I got a website, Facebook, Amazon, all those things that I told you, good things to have. And I actually do have time for maybe 1 or 2 questions. Anybody? There's a microphone right here. You got to come up here. It's being streamed, so if you want in, you got to talk to the mic.
Is that okay if I do, just since I'm up front already? Can you talk a little bit about I forget what you call it, like the book launch team, the 20 or 30 street team? Thank you.
Street team, launch team?
Yeah.
Sure.
How do you physically get the book to them? Do you do it from Amazon? Do you give them like a pre-pub version? Is it helpful if Amazon knows they got the book through Amazon to begin with? All that sort of thing, if you can for a second.
Okay, that is longer than what we have time to talk about. But the way you do it is you send them an ebook via email. There are a number of programs that you can use to convert your Word document into an ebook. Thought I turned that off. Send them an ebook. When I first started out, I sent them print books because I was only sending like 5 or 10. That gets expensive. Certainly they appreciate the book, but then there's the whole matter of trying to get it produced before the actual launch, which is a pain. So it's easiest just to do an ebook. The program I use is Calibre, C-A-L-I-B-R-E, which is a free program. You can donate to it if you want. And then just send them the ebook. Theoretically, they can say on Amazon when they do the review that they were given a copy for the review, but they don't have to. Some like to. It's great. They can.
What if you talked about your picture, have your picture out there everywhere?
Uh-huh.
What if you're writing under a pen name?
That makes it a little bit harder. It takes away that tool. If you don't want people to know who you are, then you can't put a picture on there.
What if I have a picture of the person it's about? What if I use that picture instead of my picture?
You can do that. It's one of those things that it may or may not backfire when people find out that that's not you. It may not. I mean, it may, could be totally fine. And some people will never know. It's only a matter of if you start going to conventions and people want to meet you and see who this author is, that you have a problem, because they go, wait a minute, you showed me this guy, you are not this guy.
Well,
I can tell.
But that would be pretty obvious since it is a guy. The book
Right.
is about the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so the guy,
You use what you have. So if that's what you got, okay. Do what you need to,
Thank you.
And You know, you can try out different things. If that doesn't work, you know, maybe you swap it out. All right, last one.
Hi, really quick, can you go back to the contact slide while I'm asking my question? And I was under the impression if you give a free book to somebody, they can't review on Amazon.
No, that is not true. Books are the only thing on Amazon that you can review without having purchased. It is a long-standing tradition in the book industry to send out review copies. Yeah. And you absolutely can review a book that has not, you know, that they didn't buy. It won't have that verified purchase, but they can absolutely review.
Okay, thank you.
The one caveat is they have to have purchased $50 on Amazon in the last year or something, but you know, overwhelming majority of people have purchased things, so that's usually not a big deal. I've only had a couple people, you know, tell me over 5 years, 6 years of doing this that, oops, sorry, I guess I haven't bought $50. They won't let me. So usually not a big deal. All right, and I am out of time. Thank you very much for getting up early and coming down.